Hey everybody, I have survived 27 years of real estate investing so far. And I say survived because, I've seen many people come and go. There have been tons and tons of people I've watched get started in this business and not make it. Some of them just gave up because they didn't have the wherewithal to keep on going. Some people, sadly, it just didn't work out. They took big losses. But still, I do know some who even took big losses and they learned from those lessons, got up, and they kept moving forward. It's not a get rich quick scheme. It is something that takes a long time. But I wanted to just share with you some of the lessons that I have learned from my own experiences and that of being a coach and helping other people as to what I believe are the keys to really being successful in this business. First and foremost is being willing to stick with it. Nothing happens quickly. You do have to stay in this business for quite some time before you really start seeing the fruit of it. I was really fortunate in the beginning that I started making really good money early in my investing career. I did in my first couple of years, but come year three, I started making more money than I ever imagined making. But just making good money wasn't life changing. I could have blown all that money in a very short period of time and still been living the exact same way as I did. I've watched people do that. I've trained people and watched them have absolutely incredible years, make more money in one year than they had made the previous 10 years, and then they blow it all in the next. And they don't have anything. So, success is a long game. It's not just making it big one year and then losing it all the next. Another thing for me was that I had learned to really stick with it because previously I called myself an opportunity hopper. Usually I would hit the 2 year mark in most things. And I started to do okay, but I wasn't seeing tremendous success yet. By worldly standards, I was having some degree of success. I could even have been the best in my area at doing things. For instance, there were many jobs I had, there were many opportunities I started where within a couple of years, people looked at me and were calling me a success, but I wasn't feeling successful yet in a couple of years. And so with that in mind, I started looking for other things because I was like, if this is all it's going to turn out to be, then I'm going to move on. I was getting ready to do the same thing with real estate investing. I flipped 105 deals in my first 2 years, and I wasn't feeling as successful as everybody around me thought that I was. And so I started literally looking for other things. I was on the hunt for what's the next opportunity, or what's the next step, or what's the next big idea, because this real estate thing's not working for me. And I'm very grateful. If there's one thing that I can really share with you, I think at this time, it was just through prayer. I asked God, Lord, what's going on here? And, He just revealed to me that every couple of years I was off doing something different. And if you're going to keep on moving on every couple of years, you're always going to be in startup mode. And you're always going to be starting something new. And that if you really wanted to have success, you needed to stick with something. And so my new goal wasn't just to learn how to do real estate investing. My new goal became stick with something for once and see it through. And I'll tell you that next year was my breakout year. I stuck with something I was getting ready to move on from, and then I had my breakout, and I started making really, really good money. Now, I also had to keep on doing it. And, throughout that, the temptation to go and just completely increase my lifestyle and live a lifestyle based off of the money I was making was there, but I chose to keep things pretty much in check. I was living well within my means and starting to put money away. One of the first things I started doing was I started buying rentals for a rental portfolio. Um, I was doing what I should have done and putting together a decent portfolio pretty quickly. I had about 30 houses, and those 30 houses, I ended up, having mortgages on every one of them. And the pressure and the stress of that, coupled with trying to manage properties and tenants that I wasn't very good at, I decided to liquidate my rental portfolio and just really dismissed the fact that rentals are just not a good thing. And at least I'd say it's not for me. I'm not a good landlord. And so I moved on, from rentals and maintained that point of view for a long time. I think I maybe had one or two, but I was doing favors for friends and letting people live in the properties. But I was not focused on having a rental portfolio. And it wasn't until years later before I started building a portfolio again, but recognizing my weakness, which I wish I would have done at the beginning. So there were two new things that I did as far as my portfolio was concerned. One, I wanted them to be debt-free. I wasn't interested in having a leveraged portfolio because, in my opinion, most leveraged portfolios, especially when they're small, you do a lot of work for many years for nothing. There is no return. If you're a patient person and you can wait on the long game, for your returns in 15, 20 years, then go for it. But I decided I wanted to do mine free and clear. And then the second thing was I decided I wanted to find a really good property manager. And today I have a wonderful property manager. My entire rental portfolio is free and clear. And because my manager is so good, like, I want to have more rental properties. My property manager just does a fantastic job. And so, if I could go back, over my 20 years, I feel like the lessons that God taught me, was one, stick with it. It takes time. It's not something that happens overnight. Making a lot of money doesn't mean it's going to change your life forever. You can have a couple of really good years, but if you don't do the right thing with that money and you don't stick with doing the things that help make you that money, you'll quickly lose it all. And then, finally, I do think that the thing that sets you free and where real wealth is built is through not just the transactional and making good money, but actually holding on to good properties and managing them well and having a good property manager in place. If you're not cut out to be a property manager, don't dismiss the fact that you shouldn't have rentals. Buy them, but do it the right way. Have a good property manager in place and continue to do that. So anyway, I hope that this helps. I hope that this enlightens some of you. If there's any questions that you have, I welcome your questions. Feel free to ask them. You can drop a comment here. You can go to my Flip for Life Facebook page and ask your questions there. I am happy to help. So have a blessed day. Talk soon.